What's up, agents? Wolf here. Welcome to another Division 2 build video. In today's video, I'm going to showcase a very powerful solo PvE build. Any kind of legendary content in the game is going to be absolutely easy with this setup. We've got insane heals. We've got a very powerful turret, which makes you feel like you have a second player with you. It's insane. It does almost 200k a bullet. We also dish out huge amounts of assault rifle damage with our capacitor, giving our skill more damage, and we have got very high crit damage. So we can melt NPCs with our turret, with our weapon, and also healing ourselves with the hive infinitely allows us to have unbelievable amounts of survivability. So what I'm going to do is play some gameplay for you guys, then we'll go through the build in detail. So please make sure you leave a like, subscribe. Hopefully you do enjoy this one. Let's get into it. Enjoy the gameplay, guys.
Over here. Fastest way to shoot him again. Let's get him out and finish this! Fucking hell! I'll sit up my turret.
Got a visual on additional hostiles in the Memorial compound. They're moving south.
Over here! Sorry's getting here! Come on! You and me! Watch it! That ain't healed! Let's go first! Right there, damn it! Put them down! I better fix that turret! Shit! Need another mag!
Vital signs critical.
All right! Good God! Fuck what?
Hopefully you guys did enjoy the gameplay. So what I'm going to do is talk about the specialization, then move on to the firing range so I can showcase exactly what was going on in the gameplay. Technician is going to be a must for this build. Like I always say, you can decide how you want to go with it, and that would, dictate what specialization you use. Never copy builds, adapt them to suit your own playstyle. Don't forget that, guys. But today I'm going to be using Technician. Simple, because we get more healing. You can go for more damage. It's up to you. We also get an extra skill tier, which is the main reason, because we've got a tier 5 skills currently. We can get overcharge. We can also increase our skill tier in many other ways, but I think that's enough because I still want to make sure this build does enough damage with the gun, because this is mainly a crit build, but we also have talents focused towards the skill damage. But there's many ways you can change this build up to give yourself more weapon damage or more skill damage. So it's up to you how you want to take this build, the setup. But let's talk about the specialization, and I'll showcase everything to you just now. So I think everything needs to be activated here. Make sure you guys do have Faraday field. I always get confused when a rushing shotgunner throws a grenade at you. You won't get shocked with this, so make sure you utilize this. It's very, very powerful. We also get 15% bonus armor while aiming a skill, which you'll be surprised actually does help, even though it doesn't happen all the time. Just make sure you have got assault rifle damage activated, because the capacitor is going to be the best weapon for this build. You can use the perfect in sync weapon. You're probably thinking, well, just show me the build, hurry up. I will do that now, guys. Let's just set this up quickly. So I think with a build like this, the reason why I made this was because I was sick of getting drone bombed and, you know, struggling to solo any kind of content in the game. Now, there are many different builds I have made in the past. This is one of the strongest ones. Honestly, it really works well. And I think if you're a new player or veteran player, you're going to enjoy this. So let's take a look at the build itself. So the main focus of this initially was I wanted to make a high damage build. I didn't just want to make a hybrid that, you know, did a lot of skill damage and you only shot marshmallows. You can one mag any enemy in this game. Obviously not the bosses or the chungas, but you can one clip any NPC very easily. Now, I do know the turret works with headshot damage as well, but we don't want to focus on that because we want to make sure we have crit damage to beam out from range because the capacitor has a good sight, which is nice. The scope is very nice on this weapon. So let's talk about the build in general, or just a quick summary of how this is built. We have got crit damage. So obviously, Fenris for the baseline weapon damage for the AR. If you want to use a different gun, just make sure to change this to whatever, like an SMG, use Sokolov Concern, or if you want to use, an LMG, use the one that gives you LMG damage. So make sure you just remember that. Baseline weapon damage, critical hit chance to get us to that at least 54, 56% crit chance. Then the Grupo for more crit damage, Wyvern for the one piece, which gives us more skill damage. So that's where our damage towards our gun comes from. And then the Wyvern gives us skill damage. Now, the exotic holster, you're probably wondering why not use this. It alternates, and we are not going to be getting a lot of the damage. It's better to run Wyvern because we have got a healing skill. We don't have two damage skills. If you're using two damage skills and you're not healing yourself, then you can use this. But then you wouldn't be able to use BTSU, and BTSU makes this build very powerful. So I wouldn't recommend this. It'll give you more damage if you actually use two damage skills, but we're going to be losing the damage because it alternates from one side to the other. The Wyvern is just going to be the best for that 1%, the 10% skill damage, the one piece. Then we have got the knee pads. These are best in slot for a build like this, guys. We've got repair skills, which increases our healing. It's good, so then we don't have to wait for our hive to come back because each actual stim of the hive is healing us sufficiently or efficiently. It's very, very good. Then we have got a skill tier. This gives us rifle damage, but if you guys didn't know, damage 2 targets out of cover. This works with the drone and with our gun. So it just seemed like the best option. You don't have to use this. You can go for more skill haste. You can go for something else. It's completely up to you how you want to take this. Because remember, guys, in a mission, the enemies might be in cover a lot of the time. Therefore, you're just losing the damage completely. So just keep that in mind. You could go for something else there as well. So I definitely would recommend the BTSU gloves. Why? Because I forget to do this. I'm not really someone who uses builds like this all the time. So they're very good, but I need to practice more. So when you actually use the BTSU gloves, if you guys didn't know how it works, you get a lot of hive skill haste. This allows my hive to always have enough stims for me. So I never really end up in a situation where I've run out. If you do run out, all you do is you wait about 3 or 4 seconds, drop it again, you get about 5 or 6 charges. So this is very good, and you can also overcharge, which is really, really good, and it happens to your team as well. So it refreshes your skill cooldown. So if your turret goes down, you blow this up, your turret comes back up, and then you must see how fast it increases and brings your hive back, and it overcharges your skills. It's very powerful. I honestly really recommend this. The BTSU gloves are amazing with this setup. So the talents, now let's talk about the talents in general. So I wanted to go for something that increases my skill damage because let's be honest, we are hitting hard enough. It's over 300k to the body, which is really good on a crit build that is like this. So let's talk about the talents now. So the chest piece talent is the best for this setup. Why? Because we get stacks. So how this works is we get 2 sides of stacks. As you guys can see right now, both of my stacks have increased at the bottom of my armor bar. You see there, the left one and the right side. So what happens is each one is separate and dependent on your skill. So let's take a look at the description of the talent. When in combat, each skill generates a stack while active or not on cooldown. So stacks increase your total skill damage by 1% and total skill repair by 2%. So for example, for 2% up to 30 stacks, that's 30%, but that's 30% per skill. We've got 2 sides, 2 skills, that's going to be 60%, guys. And then it's going to be 30% skill damage. So 60% skill repair, which allows our hive to heal us more. And also, you know, if you wanted to heal your shield, but that's another story. And then 30% skill damage, which is just the best for the setup because we've got healing and we've got skill damage. So this is a very good talent. There's other ones you can use, but just make sure to give this a try. It does keep your stacks up, even though the hive. So what happens is if you use like a chem launcher, it doesn't work as well because you lose your stacks. But with a hive, even though you drop it down and you take damage, as you can see, the stacks stay up, which is important to take note. So just remember that when you're trying to use a build like this with any kind of skill. So with regards to the weapons, the capacitor is really good. Goes off of skill tiers. You get 7.5% weapon damage from skill tiers. Therefore, this gives me like 80,000 damage a bullet more on a crit. So this is by far overall the best weapon to use. You can use other weapons, other talents. I did try to actually utilize what I've made a scalpel build in the past. The scalpel is very good with the setup. The problem is if you guys didn't know, if you're constantly swapping guns, if you stack this weapon up and then you swap to your other weapon, you lose your skill damage immediately. So it's quite annoying. So what happened was I would use the scalpel marksman rifle. It gives you skill tiers. So I'd get a skill tier, I'd swap back to my capacitor. Not only have I lost my capacitor stacks, but I've lost the skill tier immediately because I've swapped from the scalpel. Does that make sense? So I wouldn't recommend swapping guns. I know it's annoying, but in this situation, that's why I've gone for this gun right here. You can use any marksman rifle you want. The White Death is really good. This is nice. I can hit 2.7 million a shot with this if I crit. So you can one-tap NPCs. This is nice if you get into a tricky situation. Also, fighting those annoying snipers, which can dish out a lot of damage. So now that you understand exactly how this works, let's have a look at the skills. Now, I will go through each piece briefly, but I want to talk about this. So the backpack talent, as you can see, I can re-roll this. You can put vigilance on. I wouldn't recommend that. Why? Simply because we take damage a lot, therefore we're going to lose the buff. There are different talents you can use, tech support, but it's going to be more situational. This, because I'm shooting all the time, I'm getting healed, and my turret is shooting all the time, this just makes sense. Combined arms, there is a perfect version, but I didn't want to use it because then it would only give me skill haste, which is kind of a waste with a Hana U. The two-piece will give you weapon skill damage, but it's not really that worth it in my opinion. So let me just quickly showcase it to you guys, and I know you might say that it could potentially become worth it in a certain situation because I do have it here. So it's a bit more damage. This is probably the best damage talent in the game for a backpack. It's very, very powerful. But as you can see, the skill haste is not that great. So I don't know. I'd rather go for more weapon damage. Like I said before, this build, you can take it many ways. This talent works great to give me more skill damage. You can use whatever other one you want. There's so many different ways to change this up. I think the most important thing to remember is that don't put any blues on a build like this. That doesn't really make sense. So obviously then the Catharsis Mask regen wouldn't help because that's percentage based off of your armor values. If you know what I'm saying. I know I'm talking a bit much, but I wanted to try and just give you my ideas around the setup. Let's take a look and see how it works. So as you guys can see now, we're going to put the turret up. So we're hitting 96k. As soon as we shoot once, you can see it goes to 116. So there we go. I'm hitting over 400k a bullet to the head with the capacitor. It's now fully stacked. Take a look at the damage. 164. So we're hitting 164 damage with the turret, which is really good. It can go up in certain situations, but that's dependent on who you're playing with, if you're playing in a team, or what kind of other buffs you use. But you can get it to over 200k easily with a bit more skill damage rolled on the build. I've gone for more crit damage, so don't forget that. But let's take a look at the healing now. So you can see the healing is just ridiculous. The healing is huge. We can survive insane fights on Legendary. We can actually run around on Legendary missions and tank a lot of damage. Any kind of new player, this is going to be a really nice build for you to start off with. I know the pieces might be difficult to get, but the utility is absolutely insane. You can really melt NPCs with this, and the damage you can do is really good. Now think about this as well. So with a headshot, we're hitting 400k. Our turret's hitting 164. Add those together, it's a lot of damage. And a 564 damage is quite good considering we have insane heals. And then as soon as we destroy this hive, then we get the BTSU, and this turns into an overcharged turret. And the overcharged turret dishes out a lot of damage. As you guys can see, we are hitting big numbers. Over 200k right there. 211k with this setup. So 214, 250. It's really good. It's really powerful. It's actually going up because I didn't have my stacks because I destroyed my thing. So it goes like around about 220,000 when you get it back, when you get the hive back, because as you can see, the stacks from the chest piece talent are now fully activated. So let's take a look quickly at the actual statistics. So we have got 58 crit chance, don't go less than 54%, 126 crit damage, 75 headshot damage, armor damage, health damage is really good in missions. It's the robotic dogs, any kind of skill proxy or weak points, very nice for that. Armor damage helps as well, but it is situational. Like I said before, guys, skill haste isn't a problem. Don't worry about this. This is because we're in the firing range. Because we've got BTSU, we can just get our skills back so fast. And when the turret goes down, it's only like 12 seconds you have to wait unless you proc BTSU. The Hive, we've got this Hive skill haste, which is insane. So don't forget about that. The BTSU works really well. So let's take a look at the test subject like I was mentioning earlier. So the perfectly in sync is really good if you don't want to have to get stacks on the capacitor, but it is going to be less damage. So hitting enemy grants 20% skill damage for 5 seconds. Using a non-shield or damaging enemy with a skill grants plus 20% weapon damage. So this is really good. So you get 40% weapon damage and 40% skill damage. Now, I don't recommend using it. I'm going to showcase why. So let's quickly put the turret out. As you guys can see, we're going to be using perfectly in sync. We are hitting 147 damage within sync and the buff. As you can see, 147. We swap to this. We get our stacks up. 1 mag. And then the damage is now 159. It should go up now. There, 164. So it is a significantly more amount of damage. So we're getting more damage here. Make sure it's on armor damage. 164. As opposed to this value here, 147. But remember, we're going to be utilizing the weapon itself for damage. So we are hitting for 263 to the body. Let's just make sure that's correct. Yeah, 263 to the body, while this is hitting 303. So as you can see, the capacitor in general for me is going to be better, but there's so many weapons you can use. It's dependent on you. Let's take a look at the build in a bit more detail. So 726k armor, you can have as many yellows or reds, it's up to you. Don't be fooled though, we have got a tier 5, but we can pull out the pistol if we need additional healing or skill damage. This will take us to tier 6, so use the card 45, or actually this is called the card custom. So the +1 skill tier is very good. So you can have more yellows, more reds, it's really up to you guys. Don't go over more than 1 because of the technician's extra skill tier. It's really up to you. You can change the talents to give yourself more weapon damage, go for more crit damage. I've got places where I could roll more crit damage, as you can see. Repair skills there. We don't even have crit damage here. We don't even have crit damage here. And we can get way over 140% crit damage with the setup. So it's up to you, but then you're obviously going to sacrifice healing or skill damage. So the whole point of this is crit chance, crit damage, repair skills, which is going to heal you, and skill damage for dealing damage with the actual turret. So it's up to you which direction you want to go in, more or less, or balanced like this is a bit more balanced, I would say. So the capacitor, very good. We get very powerful modifications. Crit chance 10%, 30% crit damage. It's a beast of a weapon. Make sure you do use it. This gives us 60% skill damage when we stack it up, and we get damage for each skill tier, which is really good. Make sure to use this pistol as well. Grouper mask, crit chance, crit damage. All my modifications are going to be crit damage for the chest and mask, bar the backpack, which is crit chance. So don't forget that. Chest piece, skill damage, crit chance. It's up to you what you want to be using here. Kinetic momentum is going to be the best in my opinion. Holster, Wyvern, very good, better than the waveform in this situation. We get crit chance, repair skills I've rolled on here. It's up to you guys. You can go for more repair skills, less, more skill damage, whatever you want to do. You need to test it out yourself and see what you want, because this build took me quite a few days to make. I had to farm the pieces, not only that, but I had to decide, I tried this with more reds, less yellows, and then more yellows, less reds, and this is how it works for me, the way that I play. So test it out yourself. Don't just use this as the word of just putting this many yellows, for example. Test it out yourself. Maybe you do better with your gun, so to give yourself more reds, but you can still heal yourself. So it's up to you how you want to take this. Backpack Fenris for that extra assault rifle damage, skill damage, crit chance modification, AR baseline damage, very, very good backpack here. I would say use tech support, combined arms. It's up to you which one you want to use. Combined arms is really good though. The gloves, we've got BTSU gloves, guys. This comes standard with skill, haste, and repair skills. Make sure, don't forget to use this. I forget all the time, but it's really, really powerful. Knee pads, try this out. It's really good. Like I said, there's other options. We got skill tier, damage 2 targets out of cover, which is great for the skill and our weapon. Repair skills rolled here. It's up to you what you want to put there. Then with the actual skills, now you can use different ones. Just remember that the your healing hive can heal this as well. In the gameplay, you probably saw my turret go down. You need to try and decide, do you want the healing more than your turret? Because your turret will take up all your hive actual procs or your hive ammo. So make sure you don't put your hive over the turret unless you want to heal it. If it goes down, it doesn't matter. You can still beam out, wait for it to come back and throw it. I'd rather keep the hive to ourselves, but it's up to you how you want to play with this. So I've got extra sniper ammo. Obviously, don't use that. I would say duration is going to be better. Then here, damage, we can't put that. I don't have very good mods, guys. Just put damage, duration, skill haste, things like that, I guess, or health would be good. Then the hive, I don't even think I've got the right mods here. Health, see stinger charges, repair charges, make sure you do that. I always forget to do this. I'm sure a lot of people are guilty for this as well. But then healing. So as you can see, the build's gotten stronger already since just doing this. Don't forget to do this, guys. I'm guilty for this all the time. Repair charges, healing, and then health, or maybe duration could be good. Actually, I think duration would be really good because the NPCs mainly focus on your turret. So this build is very good. I really want you guys to try it out. Leave a comment down below how you feel about it. Did you give it a go? Did you enjoy it? And with that being said, please make sure you guys leave a like, and we try get to 500 likes. I'd really appreciate it. It helps us. Leaving a comment always helps. And also subscribe, click that notification bell, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace out, agents.